Hey there, everybody. Tony Porter, Cards and Dice TV. We're doing Fall Classic Baseball, and we will be. Let me move this up, get a better there. We will be playing the Yankees against the Baltimore Orioles, Game 4 of the '76 season. It's going to be Doc Ellis for the Yanks. I don't know why Doc Ellis is not up here. Let me grab him real quick. All right, so both pitchers are Bs, and we're ready to roll. We're going to be rolling two D6s and a D20. Super easy to play game. That's a 52. That's an error check. So we're going to pull a card. It's going to say check the third baseman. And the third baseman for the Orioles, we'll go over the Yankee lineup right now, is Brooks Robinson. Yes, sir. The Brooks Robinson. And we have a chart here that says he is an error rating of 4, and we rolled an 11, so that's a ball that Robinson gets to and fires a strike to first to get Mickey Rivers for out number 1. All right, next batter is Roy White. He's a switch hitter against Jim Palmer. He's batting lefty. So it's going to be Rivers, White, and Munson, Chambliss, Gamble, and Nettles, and Dempsey, Randolph, and Mason, the shortstop. Doc Ellis on the mound for the Yankees. For the Baltimore Orioles here in Baltimore, it's Bumbry, Blair, and Singleton, Mora, Gritsch, and Muser, Brooks Robinson, Dave Duncan, and Mark Belanger. Here's pitch to Roy White from Palmer. It's a 13, and that's going to be an out. The number here tells you it's an 18. That's going to be a fly out the center, and it's a medium fly because the 3 tells us it's a medium fly. 1 and 2, that's a homebrew, by the way. 1 and 2 is a short fly. 3 and 4 is a medium fly, and 5 and 6 is a deep fly. So now you have more visuals for the game, more nuance, more detail, so you can watch the game unfold before you. So this is the first game of the '76 replay that I'm doing with the Yankees. This was the first season I ever replayed and the first team I ever replayed as a tabletop gamer. So I have a close connection, a strong, emotional tie to this season. So again, it's the 18, and it's going to be a deep fly ball. Backing up is Blair to the track and gets under it and squeezes it to retire the side. So no runs, no hits on the Yanks. The Yanks' record so far this season is 2-1. They won yesterday's game. It was Jim Catfish Hunter with a 3-hit shutout. Very impressive. He looked outstanding. He looked back. He went back to his form during the athletics, the 72, 73, 74 world champion athletics. He was one of their aces. Al Bumbry with an 11, and that's going to be a fly out again to center field with an 8. So 8 and 18 are going to be, and 2 are going to be fly outs to center field. Those are the 3 numbers. Paul Blair now, and he bats from the right side, a 62, and Doc Ellis is a B, and a 19. That'll be lifted to right field, shallow right. Racing in is Gamble, and Gamble gets there in time. So Gamble had a little issue reading it off the bat, but then all of a sudden adjusted and rushed in and made a running catch. Here's Kenny Singleton, switch hitter, who's batting from the left side against Doc Ellis. He started the 1971 World Series. That's going to be a 53, and that's going to be a range check. That 19 is going to tell us that ball is past the diving second baseman Randolph. 19 is so high that there's no way Randolph is a 19. I'll tell you, he can be high, but he's not a 19. He's a 16, but not a 19. So that's going to be a base hit through second base into right center field. So here's Andres Mora. He's a switch hitter. He is playing DH, bats from the right side against Ellis. And here's a pitch. And let me try to get this into view. So it's going to be a 55, and that's going to be with a 4, D20. You don't see it, but it's a 4. That's going to be a double. So the runner could score here. And it's going to say F will score. Kenny Singleton, he's probably an A. He is an A. It says with an A could risk. That means that an A could risk. So we're looking at 1 to 3, he'll be out. 4 to 6, he'll score. And we're going to hold off. So it's going to be a double with 2 outs. You know what? We're going to risk it. Let's throw a die, see what happens. 1 to 3, he's out, and he'll be thrown out by the right fielder. Who's in right? Oscar Gamble. He's going to get the ball to the relay man, Randolph, and here's a throw to the plate. Dempsey with the tag, and he is out at the plate. So Singleton, 9-4-2, and they throw him out, and that ends the inning. So no runs, 2 hits, and we move to the, but none score there, so there's no score. We move to the top of the second. Chris Chambliss leading off. He bats from the left side. Here's a pitch, and that's a 13, and that'll be a fly ball, right field, medium right field. Oscar Gamble now, he bats from the left side. He's in right field for the Yankees. That's a 45, and that'll be a fly ball to right, deep right field. Back near the track is Singleton, and he hauls it in, 2 away. So far, lots of fly balls, and here is Greg Nettles with a 43, and a 43 will be a 2, which is lifted to center field. Center fielder Blair is right there, and that'll retire the side. 3 up, 3 down. All right, Bobby Gritsch is coming up to bat. Let's get some. Sorry about the dogs, guys. Let me try to get a little baseball sounds in the background. I love to have baseball sound in the background. All right. I had a little bit to drink. Some water here on the side. It's going to be Bobby Gritsch leading off. The first inning ended with a play at the plate, and it was Oscar Gamble who threw out Kenny Singleton trying to score from first on a double. It's going to be a 63. Bobby Gritsch, a 63 is a 19, and that's a fly ball, medium right field. 1 down. Next up is Tony Muser. Here's a pitch, and that's a 41, and a 41 must be ball 4, so Muser walks. He's on at first, and let's check out he's S, so he's a plodding guy. So base on balls. Here's Brooks Robinson with a 56, and that should be a strikeout, and it is. A strikeout for Ellis. Ellis won 19 games in 1976 with a 3 ERA, 1.2 whip. And Dave Duncan, right-handed hitter with a 22, and that'll be a ground ball to short. He goes to second for the force, and that retires the side. So no runs, no hits, 1 left, the walk. We go to top of the 3rd inning. All right. Top of the 3rd. It's going to be Dempsey, Randolph, and Mason. Pitch from Palmer, 21 and out, and that is line to left. And making the catch easily is Bumbry. It was ripped, but he was right there. He's Willie Randolph now. 21 and a 20, and that's lined right back up the middle and caught by the pitcher, Palmer. So it's an L1. So it was ripped up the middle, and Palmer in self-defense put up the glove and made the catch. And here's Jim Mason now. Pitch from Palmer. He's lefty, is 61. And that's going to be a check swing. They check with the third base umpire, and he went around, and Mason doesn't like it. But that's strike 3, and that retires the side. 3 up, 3 down for Palmer. And we go to the bottom of the 3rd inning. It's going to be Mark Belanger leading off against Ellis with a 33, and that's going to be bounced up the middle and through for a base hit. Plus, we got potential for a stolen base because it's a plus sign on the 33. That just means he attempts to steal. His stolen base number is a 12. There he goes. The throw down from Munson, the tag from Randolph, and he is out. Actually, covering is going to be Bumbry's a lefty, so the covering would be Mason. So it's 2-6 One down. Next up is Al Bumbry with an 11, and that's bounced to first, and he flips to the pitcher. That's Chambliss, flips to Ellis covering first for out number 2. Here's Paul Blair. He fouls one down the line, and that's in the seats. Strike 1. And the 35 is going to be a check swing, bloop, and that's over the head of Nettles and drops into left field. Paul Blair is on with a 2-out single on the 35. Here's Kenny Singleton. Singleton singled and ended up getting thrown out at the plate in the first inning. Here's a pitch to Singleton, a 42, and that'll be ball 4. So the O's are threatening here a little bit with 2 outs in the bottom of the third. Got runners on first and second. Andres Mora is up. He's a switch hitter playing DH. 21 years old, batted .218 in 220 at-bats with 6 home runs. Here's a pitch from Doc Ellis, a 22, and that'll be a ground ball ripped to short, backhanded by Mason, throw to first, and in time to retire Mora. And no runs on 2 hits, a couple of runners left on base, and we move to the top of the 4th inning. What an exciting game here in Baltimore, playing Fall Classic Baseball. You're listening to CD, Cards, and Dice, and Tony Porter. All right, here is Jim Palmer versus the lefty Mick the Quick, Mickey Rivers, and looks like he's 75 years old as he steps up to the plate, but once he gets going, man, he is speedy. They call him Mick the Quick. He's a center fielder for the 76 Yankees. It's going to be a 13, and that's going to be right back to the mound. Palmer over to first and gets Rivers 1 out. Next is Roy White and a 56, and that'll be a strikeout. So he checks his swing, and they check with the third base umpire, and he went around. So Roy White called out on strikes, and here is Thurman Munson, 62, and that's an out. That's a little nubber right in front of the plate. On top of that is Duncan. He throws over to first, and that retires the side. 3 up and 3 down. So Palmer has retired 12 in a row. Next up is Bobby Gritsch. It's Gritsch, Muser, and Robinson here against Doc Ellis, one of my favorite pitchers of all time. A 66, and that is ripped down the line. Fair ball into the corner, and digging for second is Gritsch. White plays it off the wall, gets it into second base, but Gritsch is in there with a leadoff double. Tony Muser comes up, and playing the line is Greg Nettles. And Mason on the grass in the hole for the actually he's a lefty, so they're moving into position. So Nettles is moving off the line more towards the hole, and you've got the shortstop Mason moving more towards the middle. And here's the pitch, Doc Ellis to Muser with a 44, and that is a strikeout. Muser heads back to the bench with the pine on his shoulder, 1 out. Brooks Robinson's next, the pitch from Ellis, and that's a snake eyes. That's bounced to short. Shortstop looks. Gritsch back to, let me double check that on here. Shortstop arm strong. Wow, okay. So runner on second on a 15. He is a righty. So no, runner will advance on that. Runner will advance. So 2 outs, runner on third. And here is Dave Duncan. Here's a pitch, and it's a 36. It's a blank. We go to the pitcher's card, and it's an out. What kind of an out? It's a pop-up, middle of the infield. Both Randolph and Mason look at each other, and Mason calls them off at the last minute. And that retires the side. So no runs, 1 hit. And we move to the top of the 5th inning. No score here in Baltimore. It's the 76 Yankees versus the 76 Orioles. Here's Chris Chambliss leading off. He flied out in his earlier at bat, and this will be a fly ball, left field, deep left field, and so Chambliss goes the opposite way to the warning track, but right there is Bumbry. Oscar Gamble now with a 53 and a 13. Now that is a range check. So we're going to pull a card, and it's going to say on the shortstop, Mark Belanger. Let's check Mark Belanger's range. He's got to beat a 13. We got a 13. So if his range is higher than the 13, he gets to the ball. A diving play by Belanger with a 17 range, back up on his feet, fires to first and in time. And we're going to put a little star there. So Mark Belanger makes an outstanding play against Oscar Gamble. 2 out. He saved a hit there. So Palmer's impressed. And this is Palmer's 12th, 13th, 14th consecutive out. Here is Greg Nettles. And Nettles with a 62. And that's going to be strike 3. And that's the 3rd strikeout of the game for Palmer. That retires his side. No runs, no hits, none left. And we move to the bottom of the 5th inning. Mark Belanger. Mark Belanger leading off. Here's a pitch from Doc Ellis with the sign from Munson. It's a 64, and that'll be bounced to 3rd. Picked up by Nettles, fires to 1st, and just gets Belanger by half a step. So he turned on the Jets going down the line, and he almost beat it. Greg Nettles misjudged Belanger's speed on that. Here's Al Bumbry. He's another speedy one. Here's a pitch to Bumbry with a 24, and that's a hit by pitch 1, but we got an 11. And that 11 is going to be a bouncer to second base. Randolph charges it, bare hands it, sidearm to first, and in time to get the speedy Bumbry. 2 out. And here's Paul Blair. Steps in as a right-handed hitter, batted 197. And that's going to be a 63, which will be a bouncer to second. Randolph, easy play. And that retires his side. No runs, no hits, none left. We move to the top of the 6th inning. Jim Palmer is retired 15 in a row. He's going to face Dempsey, the bottom of the order. Dempsey, Randolph, and Mason. Playing Fall Classic baseball, super easy to play, but extremely detailed. This is no harder or more complicated to play than Stratomatic or APA Basic, believe it or not. Now, it looks complicated because it brings a lot of charts, but really when you figure it all out, you don't use any of those charts, really. That's just for very kind of outlier situations more than anything. Here's a pitch. It's going to be a 64, and that'll be an out. It's a fly ball, center field, hit hard, but right at the center fielder, Paul Blair. Blair, an excellent center fielder. Later on is going to play on the Yankees, known for his defense. And next up is Willie Randolph, who lined out hard right up the middle, and it was Jim Palmer who, in self-defense, put up his glove, and the ball ended up right there. And this is going to be a 35 and a 35. It's going to be a fly ball to deep left field, and back goes the left fielder Bumbry to the track, and he hauls it in for out number 2. Jim Mason, the light-hitting shortstop. He is a platoon player with Fred Chicken Stanley. Mason with 217 at-bats and a 180 batting average. Here's the pitch to Mason, and that's a 21, strike 3. And Palmer blows a fastball by Mason, and that is his 4th strikeout of the day to retire the side. No runs, no hits, and Palmer retires 18 in a row. Yes, sirree. All right, we are in the bottom of the 6th inning. Jim Palmer's retired 18 in a row. It's going to be Doc Ellis versus Singleton, Mora, and Bobby Gritsch. Bobby Gritsch playing second base. Eventually, he gets over to the California Angels and plays with them throughout the 80s. Here's a pitch, and it's a 64, and he's a B, so that's a fly ball, medium left field. Right there is White. Andre Mora, switch hitter, batting from the left side with a 21, strike 3, and curveball gets Mora. Nice curveball from Ellis. Here's Bobby Gritsch with 2 outs now, and he's 1 for 2. He doubled in the 4th inning, flied out in the 2nd. Steps in the box, and Doc Ellis winds and deals. Here's a pitch, and there it is. And that's a ground ball, hit hard, but right at the shortstop, Mason. Fires and high throw, but Chambliss reaches up, stretches, and makes the catch to retire the side. 3 up, 3 down. That's 9 in a row retired by Doc Ellis now. Next is Mickey Rivers leading off for the Yankees, the top of the order. It's Rivers, White, and Munson. No score in this game. The low-scoring game so far between the Yankees and the Orioles. Yesterday's game, Catfish Hunter blanked the O's on a 3-hitter. Here's a pitch from Palmer, and that's going to be a 62, and that is it's a fly ball. Shallow left field racing in is Bumbry, and Bumbry gets there. Roy White now with a 1 out. Here's a pitch from Palmer, and with 16, and that is a fly ball, and deep to center field. On the run is Blair, and Blair runs it down for out number 2 here in the top of the 7th inning. That's 20 in a row Palmer has retired. Thurman Munson now. Munson batted .302 in 1976 with 17 home runs and 105 RBIs, only 29 walks. So he's an aggressive batter and doesn't strike out very much. Had only 38 strikeouts, 9 hit by pitches, 27 doubles, 1 triple, and 17 home runs. Thurman Munson, the pride of the Yankees, the captain, also known as the Walrus. And here's a pitch from Palmer, and that is a 45, and Palmer again gets lucky, and that is bounced to third, picked up by Robinson, low throw, scooped out by the first baseman Musser to retire the side. 3 up, 3 down, and he's retired. 21 in a row. Jim Palmer's retired 21 in a row. Holy smokes. Tony Musser, Brooks Robinson, and Dave Duncan in the bottom of the 7th inning. No runs, no hits, none left in that inning for the Yankees. And Musser has walked and struck out. Here's a pitch from Ellis with a 46 and a 15. And here in Baltimore, that's going to be, he's a lefty, and that's going to be a pop-up left side foul ground. And it's Nettles. Makes the catch near the stands. 1 away. Next up is Brooks Robinson, and Brooks Robinson with a snake eyes, and that's a fly ball. Shallow left field racing in is White, and White makes the catch. Nice running catch by Roy White. 2 out, Dave Duncan. Dave Duncan hit into a force out and popped up to the shortstop. 2 out here in the bottom of the 7th inning, a 0-0 tie, and here's the pitch. That's a 35, and that is bounced up the middle. And oh no, it's 7. He's an A now, and that is Randolph gets there, dives back on his feet, fires to first, and gets Duncan a 4-3 put out to retire the side. No, because Ellis now in the 7th becomes an A pitcher, so he's an A pitcher, and so is Palmer. Palmer's an A pitcher as well. All right, so we go to the top of the 8th inning, and Palmer's retired 21 in a row. See what happens. All right, we're in the top of the 8th inning, game between the 76 Yankees and 76 Baltimore. It's the 4th game of the season. Jim Palmer facing the Yanks, and he's retired 21 in a row, and he's going to face Chambliss, Oscar Gamble, and Greg Nettles. This gets harder and harder as you go. So let's see what happens. Here's a pitch from Palmer. He's an A pitcher now, and that's going to be a 35 under A, and that's going to be a bouncer. He's a lefty. It's a bouncer to short. Picked up by Belanger and in time to get Chambliss 1 away. That's 22 in a row, retired by Jim Palmer. Palmer had a 1.0 whip, 22 wins, 13 losses. Here's Oscar Gamble. He bats from the left side. He flied out to right, and he grounded to short. And there was an amazing play by Mark Belanger to save a hit. It was on a range play. Here's a pitch. And that's a 45. And again, Palmer lifts one to deep center field. On the run is Blair, and Blair on the track runs it down. So Oscar Gamble gave it a ride, and Blair was able to read it well off the bat and caught up to it. He turned around and sprinted right to that ball and caught it on the warning track. So that was a deep drive by Oscar Gamble. And here comes Greg Nettles. Greg Nettles flied out to center and struck out. Here's a pitch from Palmer, who's retired 23 in a row. And here it goes, and a 33, and that is line base hit to center field. Greg Nettles, line drive base hit, and there it goes. And two outs in the bottom of the 8th inning. Greg Nettles lines it to center on a 33, 1-15, and we rolled a 3. And that's going to be a stolen base attempt for Nettles. He's a 13, so we're going to have to roll. It needs to be 13 or higher. The catcher, Duncan, let's see if he has what kind of an arm he has. He has an A arm, so no change there. And here's the throw. Oh, no, and that's going to be a potential pickoff by Palmer, who's an average arm. So it has to be a low roll, and that's not going to do it. So back safely is Nettles. Almost gets picked off, but no. So here's Rick Dempsey. Nettles is on a first, 2 outs. Pitch to Dempsey. It's a 15, and that is lifted to deep left center field. On the run is Blair, and Blair catches up to it to retire the side. So no runs, 1 hit. Breaks up the no-hitter in the bottom with 2 out in the bottom of the 8th. Greg Nettles with a 33. We'll write that number in there. Rolls a 33. Wow. And no runs, 1 hit, 1 left. And we move to the bottom of the 8th. Mark Belanger leading it off against Doc Ellis. Doc Ellis is retired 12 straight. He's given up 5 hits, and 1 walk. So he's pitched excellently as well. So we got some kind of pitcher's duel, 0-0 tie here in the bottom of the 8th inning using Fall Classic Baseball. This is my 3rd replay with Fall Classic Baseball. 24, and that's going to be a hit by pitch 1-2. And then it's a 0 modifier there, so that's a line drive to second base. So Mark Belanger rips it up the middle, and Randolph is right there to take it away from him, take a hit away from Belanger, 1 down. Al Bumbry next. So first you go off the batter, read the number off the batter. You read it like you'd play APA. The large one is a 3, then it's a 2, it's a 32, and that's a blank. So then you go over to Ellis, and that's a drive in the gap, and that's going to be 1 hop off the wall for Bumbry. He's speedy. He's around second, thinking of third. No, puts on the brakes, and he's going to try to get back to second. And he is in there safely with a double, a 1-out double for Al Bumbry. Here's Paul Blair now. Doc Ellis checks in with Munson. And he sets and looks over at Bumbry. Bumbry's got a nice lead. And here's the pitch to Blair. That's a 32, and the 32 is going to be a drive, and that's going to be over the center fielder's head. Bumbry's going to come around to score, and Blair digging for second to slide the tag, and he is safe. The Orioles have taken a 1-0 lead here in the bottom of the 8th on a drive. Paul Blair drove one to deep center field, and Rivers could not get it. 1 hop off the wall. He played it off the wall, and by the time he got it in, Blair was in at second base with a double. So it's an RBI for Paul Blair, and it's 1-0 Orioles. Doc Ellis. Munson's going to go out to talk to Doc Ellis after retiring 13 in a row. It's Bumbry and Ellis with back-to-back doubles here in the bottom of the 8th, giving the O's a 1-0 lead. Here's Kenny Singleton. He's a switch hitter. And then after him, we got Mora, who's a righty. We're going to walk Kenny Singleton here to try to maybe set up a double play. And here's a pitch to Mora. And that's going to be a 44, and that is strike 3, 2 away. Big pitch for Doc Ellis. Slider got Mora to chase. And it's Bobby Gritsch now with 2 out and runners on first and second. Inning started with a line out to second base, and then back-to-back doubles by Bumbry have given the Orioles a 1-0 lead. Here's a pitch. And that's going to be a 16, which is a line out to short, rip to short, Mason leaps and brings it down to retire the side. So 1 run on 2 hits, 2 left, and we move to the top of the 9th. Last licks. Jim Palmer with a masterpiece performance. It's going to be Randolph and then a pinch hitter for Mason. Who's on deck? Who is that on deck? It looks like Sandy Alomar, it looks like Sandy Alomar. Here's a pitch to Randolph. And with a 14, and that is a fly ball, medium center right fielder comes out of nowhere and takes it. I have a pinch hitter now. Let's see who that is. Lou Piniella is going to pinch hit here for Mason. In the top of the 9th inning against Jim Palmer. Palmer's allowed 1 hit, and that was in 2 outs in the bottom of the 8th. Up to that point, no walks. He retired 21, 22, 23 in a row. Here's a pitch to Lou Piniella, nobody on. 1 out, 21, and that is a fly ball to shallow center field. Racing in is Rivers, and Rivers gets there. 2 out now. So the Yanks are 1 out away from losing this game 1-0 to Jim Palmer's spectacular performance, giving up only 1 hit to Greg Nettles in the top of the 8th inning with 2 outs. Here's Mickey Rivers and a pitch, and that is a 14, and this will do it. Bounce to second base, picked up by Gritsch over to first, and that's the ball game, folks. What a game. Holy smokes. We were close to, we were what, 4 outs away from a perfect game. Yikes. No runs, no hits. The Yanks get 1 hit by Jim Palmer, and that'll be it. We're going to go to Minnesota next, I believe, or we come home. We go home to New York, and we face Minnesota, I believe it is. So it's going to be 1-0 O's. And the loss is going to go to Ellis. The win goes to Palmer. 2 hits, 3 hits, 4, 5 hits, 6, 7 hits allowed by Ellis. No errors for either team that I can see. And the Yankees with 1 hit. 1 hit. Jim Palmer 1 hits the Yanks. Doesn't allow a walk. Holy smokes. And that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. And Doc Ellis struck out 1 there, 2, 3, also 4. 1 walk, 2 walks. So 2 walks, 4 strikeouts, 1 run, 1 earned run, 7 hits allowed, 8 innings pitched, excuse me. So Ellis takes the loss. Palmer gets the win. What a game. Tony Porter, Cards and Dice TV. Check out Universal Baseball Association on Facebook group. You will enjoy it. I guarantee it. And become a member, and we will see you there. Take care, guys. Fall Classic Baseball 1976 replay.